hello. We find ourselves in the car again.
Hello there.
So, question. We are talking about benchmarks today. Tell us, what is a benchmark and why is it important? Because obviously it's really easy to get stuck on your own numbers, to be thinking about, your numbers for your business, but why is a benchmark so important?
Right, firstly, what a benchmark isn't, what it is not.
What it is not.
It's not a scratch on your kitchen bench.
Hilarious.
But a benchmark is something that you can measure your business against, so you can see whether you're actually doing well or you're not doing so well. So how do you know? Well, a benchmark is something that we utilize, and we compare perhaps figures or ratios to businesses in your industry. So you can see, am I doing all right, or could I be doing better? Or look at the industry leaders. So what sort of benchmarks can we look at? Well, your common ones are your cost to turnover ratios. So how much of your costs are you absorbing with every dollar of turnover you make? So the big ones, the biggest one there is wages. So let's just use an example. We had a client here who was struggling to make a profit as a cafe or a restaurant, and we could easily see why, because his wage bill was up to 50% of turnover. And we met him and said, look, listen, your wages are way too high. And he says, but I can't do any better. And he honestly felt like that. We go to the industry benchmark, we notice that restaurants or cafes in exactly the same business, the benchmark, this is the information reported to the ATO, wages should be 30 to 35% of turnover. Clearly, he was doing something different to what all of his competitors were doing, even though he thought he was doing the best that he could. That's why a benchmark is good. You can compare yourself to other businesses in the same industry. By the way, these benchmarks you can actually obtain from the ATO website. Type in benchmarks in your Google search engine, ATO, and you'll be able to see all the information reported to the ATO based on types of businesses or industries that they are operating in. You can see the various benchmarks that can be used as a measure for your business.
And use that measure to get as close as you possibly can, right?
Well, you can see how you're going and whether the areas that need to be improved, perhaps.
Got it. Nice. Thank you for explaining that.
That's what it is.
And have an amazing day.